Whew. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Saturday night here on the Paranormal Portal. I don't know if I'm connected. I know I'm connected to the network, but I don't know if the network is connected to the network. I was trying to connect it tonight, and I don't hear anything. It's still saying I'm muted there, so we'll see. We may end up with a commercial-free night tonight, but it's just you and I tonight. We are the Paranormal Portal, so we'll see what's going on here as I'm watching this. I don't know for sure. It still says I'm muted, so I'm not sure if we're going to be live or if we're going to be Memorex here or whatever. Because, the old commercial, is it live or is it Memorex? Come on. Just going into the Wayback Machine here a little bit, but no, I don't know. It doesn't look like it's connecting. So I don't know. We'll keep plugging away, I guess, and just see what happens. I'm not going to sit and stare at the interface. If it pops up online, then I guess I'll know we're online. If not, then we'll probably just be shutting it off because I don't know what's going on for sure. But we'll see. Maybe it'll still work, but hope you guys are doing great. Thank you so much for stopping in and being a part of the journey tonight. As always, it's a sincere pleasure to be doing these shows, and it's even a greater pleasure to see you guys coming in and to be a part of it. I really appreciate that. We've got a lot to get to tonight, including the news, including the Discord question of the week, including the Cryptid Corner, and a whole bunch of other stuff that we're going to mash into there and see what we can get to fit in the time that we got. So lots of things going on tonight, folks. But I hope you all are ready. Let's see. What should I do? I think I'm just going to disconnect the network because it doesn't look like anything's happening. As far as I can tell, it still says I'm muted. I'm not sure because other shows seem to be working good. So maybe it's just me. Not sure. And not seeing any kind of feedback there either. So let's disconnect this and we'll get going with the show. Remove call. Good. Okay. There we go. Now it's just you and I and the phone lines. So remember, throughout the course of the journey tonight, if you've got a paranormal thing that you want to share or some discussion you want to have about something we're talking about, I'd love to hear from you. So you can call in 720-923-0500. The number's right there, right on your screen. So if you feel like, hey, I want to call in and tell them about this, then that's how you do it. So that's one option for you as always. But if you're in the chat room and you want to share something, at least put the words Paranormal Portal at the front because it gives me a big orange box that I can see really clearly. But if you forget to do that, at least capitalize your whole message because those do stick out a little more. They're easier to see, like, oh, what's going on there? Who's yelling? In old chat, in old chat rooms. If you capitalize everything, it's like you're yelling. So I don't know. It's... it is what it is. But anyway, let's get started. I guess we should head to the news and see just what's going on. Sheldon, of course, couldn't make it tonight, just to let you know. He's got a splitting headache. It's been belaboring him all day, so he's unfortunately had to bow out tonight. So it's just you and I. So you guys are the co-host tonight, so definitely don't drop the ball. I'm gonna be leaning on you. All right, so as I laugh at my own jokes, there's something seriously wrong with me, folks. But anyway, let's get to the news and find out just what's going on here in the world of the Paranormal Portal news desk. Let's hit the news. I can tell the weather's getting warmer because it's getting steamier here in the studio. I'm gonna have to start the fan again pretty quick. Jeez, I put on shorts actually today, folks. I'm just in a really happy personal space right now. This is the first time I've worn shorts all 2023, and let me tell you, I missed it. So But enough of me. Let's get to the news, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Paranormal Portal News Desk. We got a few things to get through. Not a heavy news day, so there's not a whole bunch going on. But there's a few good tidbits that I pulled up for your enjoyment. So let's hope that you leave here learning something that you didn't already know. That's always my objective. It may not be news you want, but hopefully it's news you can't forget. Like you're mentally scarred from it or whatever. But anyway, let's get to the first news article of the night. And before I go any further, the first news I want to cover is this. This is something I've been covering quite a bit lately because it's something I'm really excited about. And this is, of course, the Spokane Valley Sasquatch Roundup is coming up on June 17th, 2023 from 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. is the main conference. And at this conference, Dr. Jeff Meldrum will be the keynote speaker. Cliff Barrickman will be there. Ken Gerhard, Michael Freeman, Michael Thompson, and Charles Johnson. And so it's going to be an epic journey. I'm going to be there. Dawn's going to be there. And maybe Sheldon. Maybe we'll get Sheldon there. But there's a lot going on. So if you're in the neighborhood or can be in the neighborhood, it'd be great to meet you. I'm going to be emceeing the thing, and Don will be there manning the Paranormal Portal table. So hopefully you guys will swing by and say hello to us. But yeah, we're looking forward to it. That'll be again June 17th, 2023. And that's 9 a.m. until 5:30 p.m. At the Spokane Valley Event Center, which is in Spokane Valley in Washington State. So it's going to be an epic time. Pretty incredible journey, and it'd be great to see you guys there. So that's coming up. That's coming up this June. And so far, that's the only conference that I've got sorted out yet. So hopefully we'll be able to make more of them. But, if you're in the East Coast, man, they got conferences all the time. But out here in the West, there's some, but everything is so far apart. It takes quite a bit of logistics and planning in order to make it happen. So we'll go to all of them that we can, but not for sure. Not for sure what's going to happen. So, but this one I know we'll be at. So hopefully you'll be there too if you can be. And for more information, head over to EX Northwest, www.exnorthwest.com. This is sponsored by Extreme Expeditions Northwest LLC. So it's going to be a great, fantastic event. So looking forward to seeing you guys there if you can be. So that's the first up on the news tonight. And I'm really excited about it. I've never emceed anything before. So hopefully I do a good job. So hopefully I represent the whole thing well, but I'll do my best. So first article up for bat tonight on the news is from unexplained-mysteries.com. Please check out this site, support what they're doing. It's a fantastic site. I know I always say that, but I wouldn't be saying if I didn't agree, didn't truly believe that. And I just love this site. And so the least I can do is try to promote what they're doing and raise awareness of what they're doing and try to get more traffic over there to them, because it's just been a fantastic journey. They've just got the best news site around as far as I can tell. So unexplained-mysteries.com says, what can science tell us about the feeling of an unseen presence? Well, first and foremost, I'm going to say, what can science tell us about anything? It's like today's science is tomorrow's flawed science, which has reinvented some other form of science. So science is always evolving. It's always a journey. So I'm not real optimistic this is going to be a real accepting and embracing of possibilities kind of story. But let's see what it says. It says, have you ever had the feeling there was someone in your room even though nobody was there? You are certainly not alone. If you've ever had the eerie sensation that there's a presence in the room when you were sure you were alone, you may be reluctant to admit it. Perhaps it was a profound experience that you're happy to share with others, or more likely it was something in between the two. Unless you had an explanation to help you process the experience, most people will struggle to grasp with what happened to them. But now research is showing this ethereal experience as something we can understand using scientific models of the mind, the body, and the relationship between the two. Here we go. One of the largest studies on the topic was carried out as long ago as 1894. The Society for Psychical Research published their Census of Hallucinations, a survey of more than 17,000 people in the UK, US, and Europe. The survey aimed to understand how common it was for people to have seemingly impossible visitations that foretold death. The SPR concluded that such experience happened too often to be down to chance, 1 in every 43 people that were surveyed. In 1886, SPR, which numbered former UK Prime Minister William Gladstone and poet Alfred Lord Tennyson among its patrons, published Phantasms of the Living. This collection included 701 cases of telepathy, premonitions, and other unusual phenomena. For instance, the Reverend P.H. Newham of Davenport in Plymouth told the story of a visit to New Zealand where a nighttime presence warned him away from joining a boat trip at dawn the next morning. He later learned that all on the voyage had drowned. Well, that's profound. At the time, phantasms was criticized for being unscientific. The census was received with less skepticism, but it still suffered from response bias. Who would bother responding to such a survey except those with something to say? Well, any survey. But such experiences live on in homes across the world, and contemporary science offers offers ideas for understanding them. Not such sweet dreams. Many of the accounts SPR collected sound like hypnagogia, hallucinatory experiences that happen on the boundaries of sleep, and it has been suggested that several religious experiences recorded in the 19th century have a basis in hypnagogia. Presences have a particularly strong link with sleep paralysis experienced by around 7% of the adults at least once in their life. In sleep paralysis, our muscles remain frozen as a hangover from REM sleep, but our mind is active and awake. Studies have suggested that more than 50% of people with sleep paralysis report encountering a presence. While the Victorian presences documented by SPR were often benign or comforting, modern examples of presences triggered by sleep paralysis tend to exude malevolence. Societies around the world have their own stories about nighttime presences, from the Portuguese little friar with the pierced hand, Fradino da Mao Furada, who could infiltrate people's dreams, to the Ogun Oru of the Yoruba people in Nigeria, which was believed to be a product of victims being bewitched. But why would an experience such as paralysis create a feeling of a presence? Some researchers have focused on specific characteristics of waking up in such an unusual situation. Most people find sleep paralysis scary even without hallucinations. In 2007, sleep researchers J. Allen Shane and Todd Girard argued that if we wake paralyzed and vulnerable, our instincts would make us feel threatened, and our mind fills in the gap. If we are prey, there must be a predator. Well, that's, I think, overly simplistic, though. Certainly, being in sleep paralysis is terrifying. I've experienced it many times. Another approach is to look at the commonalities between visitations in sleep paralysis and other types of felt presence. Research over the past 25 years has shown that presences are not only a regular part of the hypnagogic landscape, but also reported in Parkinson's disease, psychosis, near-death experiences, and bereavements. This suggests that it's unlikely to be a sleep-specific phenomena. This is a lot of article, but there's just one more segment left. So it's mind-body connection. We know from neurological case studies and brain simulation experiments that presences can be provoked by bodily cues. For example, in 2006, neuroscientist Shahar Arzi and colleagues were able to create a shadow figure that was experienced by a woman whose brain was being electrically stimulated in the left temporoparietal junction. Temporoparietal junction. Okay, sorry. The figure seemed to mirror the woman's body position, and the TPJ combines information about our senses and our bodies. A series of experiments in 2014 also showed that disrupting people's sensory expectations seems to induce a feeling of a presence in some healthy people. The way the procedure the researchers used works is to trick you into feeling as if you are touching your own back by synchronizing your movements with a robot directly behind you. Well, that's not creepy at all. Our brains make sense of the synchronization by inferring that we are producing that sensation. Then, when that synchronization is disrupted by making the robot touches slightly out of sync, people can suddenly feel like another person is present, a ghost in the machine. Changing sensory expectations of the situation induces something like a hallucination. That logic should also apply to a situation like sleep paralysis. All our usual information about our bodies and senses is disrupted in that context, so it's perhaps no surprise that we may feel like there is something other there with us. We might feel like it's a presence, but really it's us. I don't know. In my own research of 2022, I tried to trace the similarities and presences from clinical accounts, spiritual practice, and endurance sports, which are well known for producing a range of hallucinatory phenomena, including presence. In all of these situations, many aspects of the feeling of a presence were very similar. For example, the subject felt that the presence was directly behind them. Sleep-related presences were described by all three groups, but so were presences driven by emotional factors such as grief and bereavement. Despite its century-old origins, the science of felt presences has really only just begun. In the end, scientific research may give us one overarching explanation, or we may need several theories to account for all these examples of presence. But the encounters people described in Phantasms of the Living aren't phantoms of a bygone age. If you're yet to have this unsettling experience, you probably know someone who has. That was by Ben Anderson Day, Associate Professor of Psychology. It also doesn't take into account the spiritually present possibility. I mean, what if people are actually seeing presences? And it isn't just because of some sleep paralysis, and it isn't just because of some tactile thing that's out of sync. Maybe perhaps people just pick up on presences, and why those possibilities are absolutely rebuked by these researchers. I guess it's because they can't quantify them. So how can they include in a study something they can't possibly understand using the tools and norms of our technology? So they just remove that and then explore everything else. Well, is there other things that can produce these feelings? Sure. EM fields can make you feel as if you're being watched. If you're in a strong electromagnetic field, it can make you feel that way. And, but there is still the possibility. I mean, it's not a new idea. It's older than the sciences that we are surrounded by spirits. And so why is that not acknowledged? Well, again, because I don't think they can quantify it. So how can they study something they can't possibly quantify or produce on cue? So it's fine. I mean, I don't think it's a hateful article or anything. I just think it's omitting the one other possibility, which is these are legitimate psychic or physical experiences based on the presence of some other intelligence, and that's, I mean, so many of us have experienced stuff like that we can't explain. And I'm no scientist. I'm no psychologist, but I still don't think it behooves us to ignore the possibility of spirit. I mean, why? What does that do? It doesn't help. But anyway, whatever. That's what they think. And perhaps they're right. Maybe there are some mundane experiences that make people feel like they're in a presence of something, but they're actually not. I certainly don't doubt that that's the case. You can't believe every claim out there, but some of them are just, confirmation bias. Like, oh, I felt something tap my shoulder. It must be a spirit. Well, maybe not. Could be a muscle twitch. Could be something actually hit your shoulder, fell from the ceiling or something. So you don't always just go right to spirit. Like, oh, that's a spirit. Well, you can't do that unless you can absolutely remove any and all other possibilities. So, and even then, it's still speculative. All right. So next up from unexplained-mysteries.com is another article. And this is UFO reported spotted near Russian nuclear power plant. Yeah, of course. They love power plants and military sites. So it's from April 7th, 2023, which is yesterday, I guess. Right? Yesterday? Yeah, it's the 8th. The incident, which is being investigated by Russian authorities, could be linked to a similar sighting over other countries. According to reports, the object was spotted on Wednesday over the Leningrad nuclear power plant in the city of Sosnovy Bor in the Leningrad Oblast. Descriptions of it in the media have been varied, with one report claiming it was seen at an altitude of around 10,000 feet and was moving at speeds of up to 200 kilometers per hour, which really isn't that fast. Military officials tasked with investigating the case stated that it was neither a plane nor a drone. The unknown object moved at a speed of the wind, said one official. This means it doesn't have engines, which means it isn't a drone or an airplane. Confusion quickly spread over the nature of the incident, however, when Leningrad Oblast Deputy Governor Mikhail Ilyin moved to dismiss the story entirely by claiming that the information was untrue. Given the possibility that the object could be some sort of balloon, blame China, it's got to be China. The sighting has been likened to other recent sightings of alleged spy balloons over the U.S. and elsewhere. As things stand, Russian officials are monitoring the object, but otherwise unconcerned. So they're not concerned in Russia. They don't care. I don't know. Again, wouldn't surprise me. They seem to show up at power stations and military bases quite often. So I guess they're keeping tabs on what the hell's going on there. But anyway, next up this is a strange one. This one might be a little long, though. Let me look at it quick. Because we just don't know. I only have so much time in these reports. No, this is pretty quick. I don't know, man. This would be a little weird, but there's always someone trying to push the envelope, and I guess this guy's the next guy on the list. Scientist is attempting to live underwater for 100 days. 100 days. 100. Reminds me of an ex. She used to say 100. This is from April 6th by TK Randall. It says, former U.S. Navy diver Joe DeTuri is attempting to live in an underwater habitat for a period of over 3 months. If the idea of spending more than a few minutes underwater is unappealing, imagine what it would be like to spend 100 entire days cooped up in a tiny underwater habitat all on your own. This is now the day-to-day reality of University of South Florida Associate Professor and former Navy diver Joe DeTuri, who is already 1 month into his record-breaking underwater stint. His home for the duration of the experiment is a 55 square meter subsurface habitat, which, despite its small size, features all the amenities a person needs to survive. Hell, I could do it, for sure. I don't go out of my house very much, and it's less than 55 square meters. Unlike a submarine, however, the habitat is not pressurized, meaning that DeTuri will need to endure significantly more pressure than would typically be experienced by a person on the surface. The aim of the experiment is to learn about the effects of long-term exposure to hypobaric pressure on the body, something about which scientists know relatively little about. If he succeeds, he will also earn himself a place in the record books. Well, there you have it. He might end up in pretty tough shape, too. I don't know what the long-term effects of excessive hyperbaric pressure would be, but I think our bodies are pretty accustomed to living on the surface. Like that's where our nature has evolved and our physiology has evolved to accommodate this comfortably. But you start messing with that, I can't imagine there wouldn't be repercussions. He might come out looking like a 90-year-old man. Who knows? Maybe it's age in him. But you never know. Anyway, that's, I guess it's anecdotal. It's not probably groundbreaking research, but it's interesting. And you heard it here. You might not have heard that anywhere else, folks, so you're welcome. All right, next up, this is kind of creepy, and this has a video. I think it has a video. But seeing for some people who are terribly afraid of snakes, I'm not one of them, although I do avoid anything venomous and dangerous. But this is one from unexplained-mysteries.com. Bizarre footage shows snake escaping by doing cartwheels. A flipping snake. Yeah, that might reset your pulse. For the first time, scientists have captured footage of a type of snake that can do cartwheels as an escape mechanism. Over the years, we've seen snakes that can do everything from swimming in the sea to unhinging their jaw to swallow large animals, but this latest discovery is nothing if not unique. A snake that can curl up and do actual cartwheels whenever it feels like it's threatened by something. Found in parts of Southeast Asia, the nocturnal dwarf reed snake, or whatever the hell that long word is. Sorry, I did cuss, actually, sorry. That is seldom seen owing to its nighttime activities and is so small that it's easy to miss in the dark. For a while, there had been anecdotal accounts of people seeing dwarf snakes cartwheeling away, but it wasn't confirmed until researchers conducting herpetological surveys, in the area came across one of them and actually captured footage of this unique defense mechanism in action. This intriguing feat is not only unique, but also quick, with the snake covering 1.5 meters in 5 seconds. The cartwheeling down an incline, the snake was able to gain speed and rapidly cover more ground. The snake was captured and placed on a flat area along the side of the road, where it repeated the cartwheeling behavior several times. You can see the snake in action at 1:50 in the video below. Well, we should probably see that. Okay, this is an Indonesian thing. Okay, okay, let's mute that. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, where's 150? 150. We don't need to go through their whole journey, but let's go to 150 and check it out. Get rid of the ad. Whoops, there it was. There it goes. No kidding, it is. Oh, that is freaky. It's literally like, remember there was I don't know if many of you remember this, but in the U.S. there was a legend of a hoop snake, and it was something like that, like it would roll away. This is claiming it's cartwheels, but I don't think it's really cartwheels so much as it literally is almost forming into a hoop and launching itself. That's pretty weird. See it again. Yeah, it's kind of rolling on itself, isn't it? Huh. Well, I don't know, but you think of snakes and you think, well, they're not really generally extraordinarily fast. There's blue racers and things that they can shoot really quickly just slithering on the ground, but I don't know what I'd do if I saw something cartwheeling at me. I think I might have to wreck some underwear on that one. That would be a little creepy, but that is interesting. Wow. Okay. Well, there you go, folks. You may not have known that before, but you're welcome. All right, let's go to the next one, and then we got some other news to get to. This one's another ghost story, and deals with another security guard being filmed having a discussion with allegedly nobody. And so let's get to that. So again, from unexplained-mysteries.com on April 8th, security guard filmed talking to ghost in a bizarre clip. Says the guard was quizzed by his coworkers when she noticed him having a conversation with an empty corridor. Back in November 2022, we reported the case of an Argentinian security guard who was filmed welcoming and speaking to a seemingly invisible entity in the lobby of a care center. And that's linked. We did see that. Now, something very similar seems to have happened again, and this time involving a security guard at a building in Houston, Texas. In the clip, which is filmed by a coworker through CCTV feed, the guard can be seen talking and gesticulating as though he's having a conversation with someone in one of the building's corridors. When asked by his coworker over the radio who he's talking to, the guard replied he'd been chatting to a woman named Miss Abigail who had asked him about a man named Mr. Griffin. As his coworker quickly pointed out, however, Miss Abigail had died 2 years prior. So, was the guard talking to a ghost, or was the whole thing a prank? Well, you decide. Let's have a look and see if we can figure it out. And this is by, I don't know, The Hidden Underbelly 2.0 is whose video this is. So, The Hidden Underbelly, without the ad.
Okay, guys, we have got this pretty bizarre piece of footage to take a look at of this security guard that seems to be interacting with a ghost. So guys, let's take a look at the footage and then we'll have a real quick chat afterwards.
Who is he talking to?
It's time for his meds.
Dispatch to 329.
329, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to a elderly lady. I saw her walking by the door and she said she's looking for Mr. Griffin. Her name is Miss Abigail.
Did you say Miss Abigail?
Yes, ma'am. She says she wants to see Mr. Griffin, and I told her that the canvas is closed, that she should come tomorrow morning, and she might see Mr. Griffin.
Are you sure you're saying Miss Abigail? Like, she's been passed on for 2 years now.
Dun, dun, dun.
Come again with that, please?
Miss Abigail is she died 2 years ago.
He takes a step back. He's like, what?
You mean you can't see the person I'm talking to?
No, there's nobody in front of you at all.
He's like, nah. Wow. That's creepy. So what do you think of that, folks? That's really bizarre. Now, I don't know the nature of this business or what it would be. How would they know who Miss Abigail was, these security people? But maybe she was a well-known presence in the building for a couple of years, or for many years before her passing. But wow, is that a little bit creepy? Hell yeah, that's pretty bizarre. I think it's amazing, though, because this is somebody having a full-on conversation with somebody. Now, he didn't know that she wasn't really there. To him, she was fully manifest, but only to him. So what is going on there? I don't know. That's the kind of stuff that really cooks my bacon, and it'll tie into the question of the week tonight as well. But very, very interesting. So Miss Abigail wasn't really there for everyone else, but was clearly there for this person. Now, again, is this legit? Well, I mean, by the dialogue, it doesn't sound like they're acting. It's, and his reaction at the end, the way he like kind of skips and hops back, like you can see him kind of take a step back first, like what? Wait, what? And then when they repeated that Miss Abigail died 2 years ago, it was like, oh. And I don't know what he saw at that point that really freaked him out, but that really freaked him out. Maybe she disapparated right then and was just gone. I don't know, but and that freaked him out, or did she transform into something else? Kind of like the ghost at the beginning of Ghostbusters, the original Ghostbusters, in the library basement. She's an old lady, and then she's like, I don't know. That's creepy though. Oh. I still think that those kind of interactions are incredible, because this person is talking to someone that is not being observed by anybody else. So for all intents and purposes, for everybody observing, there's nobody there. He's having a very animated conversation with his hand gestures and everything, but very interesting nonetheless. So what do you think? What do you think is going on here? But and again, is it for sure legit? No, I don't know. It could be absolutely some kind of like they said, like a prank. But what if it's not? What if it's not a prank? I don't know. It gets kind of weird. I'm actually going to go to a video that our good friend Mr. Jake Fortes posted. It was one that I was going to do on Wednesday night, but I forgot. And then Friday we had Maya here, so I had to take an extra breath there. So this is one that Jake posted on his YouTube page, and it's not his video, but it still is one that I had never seen before, and it's pretty creepy. So we're going to check this out, and you can find Jake's channel. You can go over and subscribe. It's Fortez Cartoons. So Fortez space cartoons on YouTube. And you can subscribe to Jake and let him know what you think. So let's check it out right now, though. How do I get this to big screen? It's not. Where's my controls? There it is. Look at that door. That is creepy. Or that's one tough plant. Could just be a tough plant. That plant's pissed. Slamming the doors. So the door kept opening and shutting violently, like trying to trap the guys inside. It's only one door, though. Didn't cover the whole opening. That's pretty creepy. Thank you, Jake, for posting that. I appreciate that. Is it a ghost? Well, looks kind of good. Oops. Nope, we're not doing that. So thank you, Jake, for pointing that out to us. I think you did a great job on that, buddy. It's a creepy video. I don't really believe the plant is slammed the door, even though there's a plant growing out of the foundation behind the door. That's just odd. Now, they did actually show the whole door, and there was no visible cables. It doesn't mean there were none, and it doesn't mean it was not set up, but if it's legitimate, that's some pretty horrifying experience. And the fact that it didn't seem to care whether they were there or not. Like, it's sometimes those door slams and things happen, and then by the time you get there, the responsible spirit is already well moved away from it. But this one continued to slam the door, like, get out, get out. So very strange, very, very strange. I don't know. What do you think? Is it real? Is it legit? You be the judge. But again, head over to Fortez Cartoons on YouTube and subscribe to Jake's channel. That was really cool. It's all up to you to decide. But anyway, I think that's going to wrap up the news. So let's get back to the rest of the show and see what else we can get into before we're all done here. So that's it for the news. Yikes. I just read Karen's comment in there. The building I worked at the time was old. Things happened. We usually just ignored it, but once in a while it got creepy. Sometimes perverts knocking on the windows too. Yeah, you don't want perverts just knocking on your window, that's for sure. That's all kinds of creepy. But I'll tell you what, folks, I need to use the loo, so I do have to take an unscheduled portal break, and this is a good time to do it. So I'll be right back in just a couple minutes. It'll be like 2 minutes, 30 seconds or so. So don't go away. There'll be a lot more Paranormal Portal on the other side. So be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and I'm fully refreshed now, so got that going for me. How you doing, Roman? Good to see you. We'll do shout-outs after the question of the week, so if you want to shout out, by all means, shout some out in chat so that you populate the list. I don't know how long you have to, how current your hello has to be to when I do the shout-outs, but yeah, good to see you, Roman. Good to see you, Chucky. Good to see you, Shrek. Awesome. Aggravated Progressive, Maggie. Good to see you, John Stevenson, and Blondie Lady. How you doing? And Maggie, of course, and Batman. Good to see you guys. Thanks for coming in. So next we're going to be going to a segment that I love. It's a newer segment. Well, newer in the terms of like the last 6 months. And we have a Discord community on the Paranormal Portal, and I'm going to put an invite in the chat. If you want to become part of it, you can certainly do that. Love to have you stop in over there and become part of the community yourself if you're a Discord user. If you're not a Discord user, you can install Discord, create a username and password, and then just join that link. And there's a thread in our Discord server that'll teach you, give you some walkthroughs, some video walkthroughs on how to use Discord. They're not our videos, but they're videos that people in the community found. Sheldon and I think a couple other people found some videos on how to use Discord. And it's helped out a bunch, I think, for a lot of new users. So, but there's the invite, and I guess it's time to go to our next segment, which is Questions of the Week. Ooh, ha, 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 ha. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Discord question of the week. And if my head was smaller, you could see this a little better. Let me shrink my head a little bit. There we go. And you can see the community that is Discord over here. And tutorials are at the top. Where are they exactly? I thought they were right there. Discord tutorials. There they are, right there. And that's just above the question of the week thread. Essentially, when you get on Discord, you'll be on the general tab, which is not able to be seen there. But the general tab is right here, and this is where you get signed up, you pop in. Oh, and there you go. M just joined, EMM. Welcome, M. Glad to have you there. And so I just said hello. And if you go up to the Discord tutorials up here just by clicking on it, that will give you access to these videos that will show you how to use Discord, how to navigate around. Once you've figured out, it's not a difficult program. It's just a little odd because it's not really self-apparent what you're supposed to do. But once you sort it out, it's like second nature, like everything else. But the thread that we're interested in now is the questions of the week. And the Discord question of the week is one that was given to me tonight, and this is from Just Here and There 66. For Saturday's show, it says, do you believe in ghosts? And if so, have you had an encounter with them? So I love when you guys help me out with the questions. It's just so awesome. It makes my life so much easier. So any of you have questions that you're curious about the paranormal, if it hasn't been asked already, then by all means send it to me and we can post it. If it has been asked, perhaps we can tailor it to a little bit different question, but maybe one that's unique enough that we can ask it. So first response was from Lars. Lars Grass says, yes and yes. He believes in ghosts and he's had experiences. He said, I called in my experiences over a year ago on one of your YouTube episodes of the show. Well, there you go. And that's great. So if you know, if you want to go back and listen to the hundreds or thousands of over 1,000 archive shows, perhaps you can find that. But yeah, I know Lars did call in and share his experiences. It's, I think most of us probably have some kind of experiences, but you know, not everybody. Comet Man sent a GIF and then said, I've seen many ghosts. Most are good and friendly like Casper. Some will interact by slapping my feet or chest as if it's a baby or a bear. Sometimes a full body apparition upon waking up from a nap and feeling drained after encountering a ghost, usually just shadow beings outside my window these days. I don't know if that's good, Lewis. And I said these videos I captured were used after the incident where I felt something hitting my foot or scratching like a cat claws. Here's the first video. Is that just one toe?
Yeah, who's stepping on my foot?
Yeah, he's just... Lewis, you got a big toe. That's he's just getting one toe up there. I was like, what the hell am I seeing? Yeah. So that's one of his videos. And the other one is here also, apparently after he felt something touching or scratching. So.
Okay, I mean, there's something there.
And apparently he's feeling it now, but not able to see anything. Oh, you got one of those apps on your phone, Lewis, huh? GhostTube SLS. Okay, I just want to go on record about these GhostTube SLSs. They in and of themselves don't really work the same as an SLS, a true SLS camera. The true SLS camera is a mechanical device created by the Xbox, Microsoft, to look at, recognize figures and to recognize motion to interact with video games. And so what they've done is these people have taken those same components and creating programs to recognize figures and then highlight them with stick figures. Now, I don't know if these Ghost SLS add-ons for the phone are really worth much. I think they're mostly just looking at images and looking for any familiar shapes that could translate into a figure, and then it will do that, but it's not quite the same mechanics involved. So as far as picking up unseen presences, but
Periodical.
The ghost box says periodical. Again, what the hell does that mean? Periodically they work? Okay, maybe that's what it means. So I appreciate that, though, Lewis. Thank you so much for sending the videos as well as your opinion. That's awesome. Luna Moonicorn says, yes, I do not know if they're entities in their own right, spirits of past living humans, dimensional bleed, or tricks of the brain, though that one is hard to believe when there are several witnesses. My family and I have had several situations where unexplained things happened or when we have seen and heard things that we could not debunk. So yes, I don't know what they are, but I think they are real. Very good. Thank you, Luna. And Blondie Lady, who's in the chat now, said, yes, I believe in ghosts. I've had several experiences. Most have been too personal to want to share. A lot of them are just shadows, but I've never felt like they were negative, more like family checking in on me. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. K-Love says, yes, I believe in ghosts and have witnessed them. Back in May 2016, I went back to my family's farm in western Pennsylvania to help out in the restoration of our barn and milk house. I got up early one morning to start painting the milk house. As I was up on the ladder, I noticed a shadow moving off to the other side of the ground at the corner of the milk house. I stopped painting to look down, thinking it was my dad or brother coming to help, and as I focused my eyes, it was a transparent image of my grandfather, who I've never met before because he passed away from a heart attack in his 30s, and my dad was a teenager. I recognized him from pictures in our family photo album. He stood there wearing denim bib overalls, watching me. When we make eye contact, he smiled, then walked away and completely vanished. This all took place in the matter of seconds. I never saw him again. Those pictures I'm posting are to give you a feeling of being there. The orange mark on the after page is where he was standing. So this is the before image. And that's, I guess, the milk house. Okay. Very cool. And this is the after. And this would have been where the figure was standing. Whoops. I thought it was going to zoom in, but yeah, that's pretty wild. And you were able to see him smile and stuff. That's really cool. And I'm sure, if he loved the property, it was his farm, he's probably still attached to it and keeping an eye on all the family that's still there. So that's pretty awesome. Huh. Great experience, I'm sure. K-Love, hi, I saw you mention shadows to Blondie Lady. The current house we live in, I see dark shadows moving across the room every now and then. There's a calm feeling in the room when this happens. My husband has never seen it. The cat sees something more often as he's fixated on watching something in the room. In my eyes, there's nothing there. The best way I can explain to others of what this shadow looks like was caught on camera by Expedition Bigfoot. Here's the YouTube clip. Start the video at 1 minute 58 seconds in to see it. And I don't want to do that because I'm sure Travel Channel would probably love to rip me a new copyright claim. But yeah, for those of you on Discord, you can go check that out. That would be very interesting. Blondie Lady says, thanks for sharing. That is so cool. You saw your grandfather. Yeah, absolutely. To K-Love. And just here and there 66 said, I had a ghost come up to me when I was 8 years old. I was in a chair with a blanket and heard footsteps coming down the stairs in the middle of the night. Every night they came down the stairs and went to the bathroom. When the footsteps started coming down the stairs, I pulled the blanket over my head. They stopped at the bottom of the stairs, and I felt like I was being watched. The steps started again, but they're headed across the room towards me. The last thing I remember before waking up in the morning was being terrified, and the steps stopped in front of my chair, and I think I fainted. Wow. That is creepy. Oof. That's a lot for an 8-year-old to take in. Jeez. All right, Chucky Danger is weighing in next. He says, yes, I very much do believe in ghosts. I refer to the podcast episode I did with the Portal, Season 4, Episode 32. I have also had an encounter with a shadow person that I did not have time in the episode to go over about. I believe we are surrounded by beings in the ethereal realm all of the time. Just having the perception or attention to detail to notice the more subtle approaches of these beings is an uncommon trait. Some people are more sensitive to their presences with psychic abilities as well. Then there are the rare instances when these beings make their presences known. Yeah, that's true. Much like that to that security guard, if that's legit. I mean, what an incredible experience. Not necessarily terrifying, but not in and of itself. The guy was just having a discussion, but it probably turned terrifying when he realized he was talking to someone who passed. Opal Demetria says, I believe ghosts are real. I've had multiple encounters with the most vivid memory was when I was 14. I was doing math homework in the living room when I felt like I was being watched from my left. I turned to see a shadow man, and he was peeking around the corner at me. He was a brown-colored silhouette. Couldn't see any features, but he looked to have had a shaved head or was bald. He looked to be around 56 or 58, or 5'6" or 5'8", with an average build, and I didn't sense anything negative from him. However, when he noticed I could see him, he quickly hid behind the corner. No sound like footsteps were made either. I smiled to myself, and with my mind, I thanked the ghost for letting me see him. I don't remember getting anything back, though, so maybe I wasn't supposed to see him. This one doesn't seem to be the typical shadow person we all know and fear. I'm including a quick app drawing that help better give an idea of what I saw. Yeah, I don't know. Here's the thing, and it's a strange thing, but it almost seems like they're not supposed to let us see them. Like, I know it sounds bizarre, but like there's rules. And I don't know why there's rules. I don't know what the purpose of those rules would be, but, I think that if we could all just see them and maybe even learn from them, then that would be a beautiful thing. But the fact that there's these rigid boundaries placed between us and them, and that's speculative on my account, but I mean, how else do you explain it? Maybe they fear that if they're seen, then they might risk being expelled. And maybe that's a scary prospect for them. Maybe they like where they are and don't want to be moved out. Now, some of them need to be moved out because they're horrible, but I think most of them are not. I think they're just doing their thing, and they're here for whatever reason they're here, and not trying to cause any trouble. So, great experience, Opal. Thank you. Rachel says, yes, I believe in ghosts. I've seen two. One acknowledged me during an early morning walk in the dark November. The other one, sitting at the edge of my bed, pointedly ignored me when I woke up and saw her, so I did the same. Good for you. I turned on my side in bed, closed my eyes and went back to sleep. It was an elderly lady dressed like a European grandmother with a scarf over her head. I could see a part of her face, and she did give me a side glance and then seemed to ignore me. Wow, that is really cool. Barbara Mora says, ghosts to me are the residual phenomena, while spirits are the ones people communicate with. Oh, that's a good point. To me, I've always, and this is my own definition, I don't mean to pretend that this is, legitimate. It's just what occurs to me is that ghosts could be anything from things that are always here and maybe were never human to earthbound spirits that haven't transitioned. Whereas I always consider spirits as some that were people and have transitioned. But they could also be other kind of entities that are not really from here. But I could be wrong. Karen Elb says, yes, I believe in ghosts. I've seen them. I don't as for when I saw my first ghost with my brother. We both saw him, an old man. Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot for a kid to handle. Again, it's tough when kids see that stuff because what do you do with that? Especially when most adults aren't really able to, help you understand. So I think it's important to listen to kids because they see a lot more of this stuff than we do. Shrek says, yes, and I think they're real. One of my experiences is in a white house. I was upstairs alone, and I heard footsteps downstairs, and I went to check it out, but no one was there. I went back upstairs, but this time I heard them in the bathroom, but same as downstairs, nothing was there. I was scared that night. It is creepy. It is creepy to think something you are not able to perceive and is just wandering through your house. That is a creepy thing. It doesn't mean that the intent is creepy. It just means that it makes us feel vulnerable. It makes us feel like we're not really in charge of the experience. And I think it's important to remember that you still are in charge of your own experience, but it's hard to regain their composure when you're hearing something doing stuff and you can't see it, but you can experience what it's doing. It is a tough place to be. So Karen says, also, let's see. Karen, yeah, that's where we're at. I have no idea who the old man was, probably residual, but I was 4 and no understanding of that. I wasn't afraid at all. Neither was Steve, my brother. We were more curious than anything. Well, that's good. I'm glad it wasn't a scarring experience at all, but thank you guys for your feedback. I appreciate that. Change the position and trajectory of your presence. I'm not sure what Batman's talking about there. All right, very cool. But anyway, thank you so much to everybody that weighed in on this question. Thank you again to Just Here and There 66 for the suggestion. I really appreciate it. Again, if you have a question that you'd like to have asked, please message it to me, email it to me, reach out through Facebook, whatever. I'm always checking messages everywhere, except not on Twitter or Instagram or I don't know. I check several things many, many times a day, and other things maybe daily or every other day. So if you want to get my attention, email me at paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. Send me a message right in my Facebook, Brent Thomas Facebook. That's another way. So there's a couple ways that I regularly check, but the other ones I check less often, but it's just because I got so much I'm trying to do. So anyway, thank you all. And again, if you want to get involved, you want to become part of the community, please click the link that I just reposted in chat, and we'd love to have you over there. Now, for those of you that may be newer or not familiar with the Paranormal Portal and how we do things, we do live shows here on YouTube every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday night. And the protocol is if there's no guest, I will post these questions of the week, usually the night before the show, sometimes the day of the show. But I try to give you many, many hours before a live show in order to weigh in. That's my objective. So usually I succeed, but every once in a while I drop the ball because, again, I'm wearing all the hats I can. So, but I'd love to have you become a part of the discussion if you don't mind. So, appreciate it a bunch, you guys. Thank you so much. And thank you, M, for joining. Oh, E. Dungarian just joined as well. So thank you to you. I appreciate that a bunch. The more the merrier, guys. I mean, and again, with these questions of the week, there's no wrong answers. The thing with the paranormal is nobody knows for sure what any of it is. Even Fortean, supernatural, paranormal, UFO, we don't know. So your ideas are just as valid as anybody's out there, whether they're well-known speakers on the subject or not. Your ideas are still just as valid because we don't know what we're dealing with. So don't be shy about sharing what you think, because you guys have put some of the most profound things about all these different subjects in those discussions, and I really love it. Oh, Dr. Manhattan, good to see you, brother. I've missed you. Glad you're back. I heard you were back before, but I didn't see you in chat, but it's good to see your name pop up. Okay, so I'm going to do some shout outs, but before we do that, let's close the Discord question of the week. Boom. All right, there we go. Discord question of the week is now concluded. Thank you, everybody, for weighing in on that. That's awesome. So now it's time. It's now time to do some shout outs here. So let's see who's here. I don't do these enough, and I do this because I want to acknowledge that you guys are here, and I try to watch the chats for any things that I need to read. James Fedke, Brent, 100% on mark. Thank you. Thank you, James. All right, participants, who do we got? We got Aggravated Progressive, Barbara Mora, Batman, Chucky Danger, Colleen Bowman, D Ocean's Deep Woo, Dr. Manhattan, E. Dungarian is in here, James Fedke, John Temperine, K-Love, Karen Alberding, Luna Moonicorn, Maggie, Ninja Dave 1970, Opal, I'm here, Rachel Gets It Right is here, somebody just popped in, who was that? Shrek is here, The Unknown is here, and The Fourth Color is here. Who did I miss? Somebody popped up. It was there, somebody popped up. K-Love, did I say K-Love? I hope I did. John Stevenson popped in. Good to see you, John. I saw John Temperin before. Justin Good Earth, good to see you, brother. I saw that one pop up. So nice to have you guys here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And anybody else, if I missed you, The Unknown, good to see you. Digger Dog's up in here. Good to see you, Digger Dog. Great to see all of you. Thank you guys for being here with me, because it makes my life much more complete. So we got some more stuff to get to. It's already after 8. My God. Where does the time go, folks? Where does it go? That's here's a weird one, and this could have been in the news, but I just thought I'll do it now. I think this is probably a more mundane animal, but I'd be curious what you guys think. All right, so this is an article from chron.com. Chron.com. So let's see what it says. Texas officials baffled by unknown animal captured on camera at state park. The elusive animal calls to mind another. Oh my God, there's 3 of them there for a minute. Wow. Oh, we got a call. Let me get to the call first, and then we'll get into this article. This is area code 636. You're on the air.
Hello?
Hello, how you doing?
Hi, Brent. How's it going?
I'm doing good, thank you. How are you?
Not too bad, sir. Not too bad. I've been a long-time listener. I've called in a few times, too, also. I had a quick question. And I've watched a lot of your shows and everything, but I have a quick question for you.
Okay.
How do you feel about the Rando Nautica app? Have you ever done a show on that?
You know, I haven't, because I have the app on my phone.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, of course. Yep. It's supposed to be using some form of computing to come up with random sites that you wouldn't normally go to, because it's supposed to bring you out of pre-programmed set of path that we're usually on, and weird things happen. So my thoughts on it are, I mean, it's all speculative because I haven't actually used it yet, but I've thought about using it.
Really?
But the interesting thing about it is that you're supposed to hold in your mind what you're looking for. So if I'm looking for ghosts and then I hit the Randonautica thing, the idea is that'll bring you to a location that should be pretty haunted or something, or have spiritual activity in it. So I think it's interesting. I've talked to, friends of mine who've used it and have had pretty bizarre experiences. I think in most cases, I think that people tend to insert their own definitions on things. And so I don't know what to think about it really, but I think it's curious. What do you think?
Right. Well, I mean, like you said, everybody's different, and everybody has their own consciousness about, like, say, oh, okay, I'm thinking about, say, I don't know, a haunted, like you said, a haunted area.
Sure.
Everybody has their own, it's almost like, I feel like it's like a modern day Ouija board.
Yeah. Kind of. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
It could be, because I mean, it uses, like you were kind of talking about earlier in the show, like the two science. You bring science into consciousness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So and a Ouija board kind of is the same thing.
Sure, and
to me, anyway, personally.
Yeah, I actually did of all things, I actually did a TikTok about Ouija boards, going over my issues with them. And what I think the big difference between like Ouija board and gathering EVPs and other forms of research is that what I think makes the Ouija board most dangerous is the fact that you are inviting something to come through you, because you have to be touching this planchette on a board, and you're saying, is anything out there? Come through us and talk to us. And so you're kind of creating a blind channel of yourself. Like, you don't know what you're channeling through, but you're giving something a green light to come through you. And whatever's there.
Right. Well, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but that's kind of like the Randonautica, though, too, because you're not physically touching, but you're mentally, when you're focused so much on a Ouija board, yes, you have your hands on it, you're physically touching it, but you're mentally now interacting with this, this.
It's possible.
This stuff that's just like floating in the air. That this, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
I'm sorry, it's hard to explain.
No, I understand what you're saying, because you're still directly interacting with intention to something.
Right. What I mean, you're physically touching your phone,
sure, technically,
while you're using this app. So, I mean, your intent is there. Because I did it one time, right? One time.
Okay.
I had seen some I've had experiences with the paranormal. Nothing like crypto, though. Okay. And I've always, for whatever reason, wanted to. And I live in South Carolina.
Okay.
So I did this, and I downloaded this app, and it was like, I'm just focused, intent. And I've always been told that I'm like empathic. Okay. You know what I mean? For the most part.
Sure.
And so I'm thinking, okay, I want to see, like, I'm not too far from Florida. Down in the South, it's like the skunk ape or this or that or the other.
Right.
So, and I'm just like, okay, I want to see a skunk ape, a skunk ape, a skunk ape. And we have swamps surrounding us, and, little bogs and rivers and this and that and the other. And I did that, and it was literally less than a mile from where my house.
Wow.
Like where the thing came up, like the I guess the location popped up, right?
Right.
And it's just so weird because, like, I can sit out on my porch and I'll just all dogs will start barking, and like you start smelling weird stuff. But then I just kind of, okay, I'm near swampy area. I didn't grow up around here. You know what I mean?
Sure. Okay.
I grew up in the Midwest, but it's just like, okay, I try to, okay, well, that's a swamp smell, or it's a wild pig smell, or, you know what I mean? But it was literally less than a mile from my house where this location popped up, and I was like, that's just weird. You know what I mean? Like, I know the natural and the supernatural and the spiritual, because I've experienced it. I've called in with my experiences.
Sure.
And my kids have, and but I was just like, I want to see a crypto. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And it was just too weird. Too weird.
That is.
And I didn't, like I said, I've listened for a long time, for quite a few years now, several years, and I've never really heard a show about that, the Randonautica, but I have heard other you know, you see it on like TikTok or you see it on Facebook, somebody will post something, but who knows with that stuff?
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
does it seem genuine? Yeah, of course.
Sure. Yeah. No, I think
mean, you're a down to earth guy. I've had conversations with you about stuff, and you know what I mean. I didn't know how you had felt about it, or even heard a show about it. So,
no, and you're right. I probably should do one, but I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll start doing some filming and trying it out, and trying to document it, and we'll make a video of it, and you know, we'll talk about it more then. But yeah, I haven't tried it firsthand. I downloaded the app, but that was as far as I went.
Right.
You know, I just get.
that's what I did at first, because I was like, I know the paranormal. It really creeped me out at the beginning at first, because I was like, I know something's gonna. I don't want something coming through or something from my past coming in.
Yeah.
And I know so I didn't do anything like paranormal. I was like, what about a crypto? Because I'm always like, okay, Bigfoot, or Chupacabra, or let me see Nessie. Come on, something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I think it would be fun. I haven't done it, but I think, you know, the other thing is that it's kind of one of those things where you got to be careful what you ask for, because you just might get it, you know?
Exactly.
So,
yes, sir. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I said when it popped up the location, because I was so intent. I was like, well, at first, because it was weird, because at first I was like, because you can kind of see like little farmhouses through the woods where I'm at. You can see like the light, and I was like focusing on that.
Okay.
And I was like, where is this? Where is this? Where is this right here? And I knew where it was.
Okay.
But my intent was like that little light that I could see through the trees that was, you know, like half a mile from my house. And then it popped up, and I was like, oh, shoot. No way. No way.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, okay, what about the cryptid? I was like, okay, swamp ape, Bigfoot. And I'm thinking back to, like I keep thinking back of stories I've heard from,
Yes. Yeah.
Bigfoot Odyssey and,
Yep. Sasquatch
all that
Chronicles.
stuff.
Yeah.
And and all of a sudden it pops up like less than a mile from my house. And I'm like, oh no, no, tell me this isn't true. I could have walked there, and I was like, should I? And I'm like, no, I'm not. Because I just got this chill over me, like when supernatural stuff, ghosts or spirits or whatever. And I was like, I'm not doing it. And it's a weird thing, too, is because my buddy, a good friend of mine, when we moved here to South Carolina, he came and visited me like last year.
Uh-huh.
And we start walking down the street, because there's like this big pond down at the end of the road where I live.
Uh-huh.
We get almost there. And I've never felt this feeling before. There's like an S-turn before we get there. It's just a little gravel road, and we're walking and talking and this and that and the other, just catching up. And I was like, I just stopped, and I was like, we can't go any further. And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, dude, let's just go back. Let's just go back. Let's just go back to my house, and we'll sit there. And and he was like, that's weird. And it was the weirdest thing, right? Yeah. It was just like, I got to go back. I didn't smell anything or anything like that. I just sensed something. I was like, no, we have to go back right now.
Good for you.
And he looked at me like I got steamy turds hanging out of my mouth. He's like, what are you talking about?
Well, I think it's like, important.
Come on, let's just go back.
I think it's important to listen to your intuition.
The thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Intuition is an important thing. You always trust your gut first. And, if your gut's saying nope, then don't. Yeah. That's a good play on your part. Even though it may look funny to your friend, I think you made the right call.
Oh, absolutely. 100. And it was like a wall.
Yeah.
It was almost like just a wall that just stopped me. And it was like, don't go any further. And I was like, ooh. I was like, we got to go back. And he's like, why? What happened? And I was like, we just got to go back. He's looking at me like, what is wrong with you? Like that stink face. Just, ugh. What are you talking about? I'm like, come on, let's just go back.
Wow. Yeah, it's crazy. And that's the thing. Maybe that's why I've never done it, is because, if you look for something, you might just find it. And am I ready for that?
That's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah. And I don't know if you can ever be ready for seeing, like an 8 or 10 foot tall Sasquatch. I don't know if you can prepare for that, or a dog man, things like that. Because once you're there and once you're seeing it, you don't get to unsee it anymore,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like the dog man thing, I'm kind of like 50-50 on. I think it's more demonic than anything.
Yeah, it may be.
I know I've heard stories of people like, it was eating a goat, this and that, and it's just like, ooh, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the one thing you wouldn't want to get wrong, because if it goes wrong, it could go all the way wrong and be a real problem. So, yeah, be careful. Be careful, brother. But I appreciate that suggestion. I'm going to do that. I'll put together a video and try to at least some footage, and we'll put it out there, and then we can discuss it or do a show around it as well. So, but thank you, man.
Yeah, that would be so cool, man. Because like I said, I never heard you.
No, I haven't.
You know, do a show about it. I mean, I know you have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of shows, but I just.
Well, I just pulled it back.
And it's just something that recently I've looked up.
Yeah.
And it came back in my memory bank, and I'm just like, man, that's just so weird.
It is, yeah.
Like, it's like a modern day Ouija board, and it freaks me out. It really does.
Sure, yeah. But I'll tell you, I just reinstalled it on my phone. It was in the cloud, so it's on my phone now as we're talking.
That's weird.
Yeah,
that's weird too.
Well, I knew I had it, so I knew I pulled it down, but I got a different phone and it hadn't reinstalled yet, so I'm gonna put it.
Yeah, I had to get a different phone too. I broke mine at work, and then it's something. It was weird because it popped up on YouTube. Something I was just watching. Someone was like, "Oh, Randonautica. We went to this thing and found and I was like, "What?"
Yeah, I think maybe if you
I haven't thought about it in like a year almost.
Yeah,
it's just weird.
It is weird. Maybe just do like looking for treasure, gold. Maybe that would work out.
Oh, that would, yeah.
Yeah, try that. Because if you find it,
than the fortune cookie, like, I'm trying to. I'd go to the Chinese place and find a fortune cookie, and it tells me my fortune. Gold would be a good one. I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
that would be a good one.
Doesn't have to be just creepy stuff. It can be good stuff too, right? So
right. I wouldn't even need my $400 metal detector. It's like Randonautica, gold.
Good luck to you, brother. But thanks for calling in, man. It's great to hear from you.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
You have a good evening and blessed Easter, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, brother. I'll be here. Take care, and thanks for calling in.
Yes, sir.
All right. Good night.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, and we actually have another call. And this is from area code 330. You're on the air.
Hey, what's up? This is, Ocean D.
Hi, D. How you doing?
Deep Blue.
How you doing?
Yeah. I'm great. How about y'all?
I think I'm doing all right.
Anyway, I hope so. I found another Sasquatch trail.
Did ya?
I think. Yeah. Walked outside, and you know what? I'm pretty sure now. Actually, after finding this, I'm pretty sure I'm mind speaking. I'm sure I'm mind speaking with them.
Oh.
Because I was getting messages that they were out back here, out in by the ravine here, the steep ravine we have behind our place, out behind the patio area.
Okay.
And basically, I just, every time I feel like I need to go outside, I find something weird out there, okay?
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, this time I went out there and I felt like walking a different way, and I saw all of this vegetation knocked down and all in the same direction.
Oh, wow.
In this crazy zigzaggy path through the woods. Because and this is the woods, the kind of place that they have next to the interstates. All the interstates, have these kind of bare areas that just have trees and stuff. This is Ohio, lots of ravines and wetlands and stuff. Anyway, so it's like this big, wide, zigzaggy path, and it's too big for deer, way too big. It's more like a car size going through there, but no tracks, no treads like that. And I'm there going, oh, wait a minute. Now, what would really make a path like that? And then it's like ding, 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 ding. just what they've been telling you. I've been getting in my head that they use this ravine to travel on all fours. Yeah, that would knock down something that about that wide, right?
I would imagine.
Then I look up. Yeah, my eyes go up, and there's a tree with a tree break, of course. I have a video of it. I could send it to you. But, yeah, I have a video of it, and then I looked, and I had been thinking I want a staff. I want to make some staffs. There was a whole bunch of little, not really little, there was a whole bunch of actually sapling-sized logs piled up, stacked very neatly. Now, there's nobody with anything wood burning around us. We're all apartments around here, surrounded by country. So somebody had stacked up very neatly, like a big stack of wood, and I was looking at this, and I was going, yep, this is absolutely Sasquatch. This is absolutely them. Because, there'll be something in my mind, and then they'll leave something to let me know. Yes, we were really talking, just like in the other backwoods on the other side, back behind the other apartment buildings they left. I even sent you that picture.
Oh, did you? Okay.
And
I'm sorry, I don't remember.
with the
okay.
Well, there's a delay, so that's why things are kind of goofy here. Kind of goofy.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the big forked stick and up in the pointing down at the broken tree, at the tree break, and then down at that depression that could have been a Bigfoot footprint. Yeah. Wow. So it was like that, and so I'm pretty sure I'm getting messages from those guys, and I think. I know I asked Robin, she said she had a tea they have some kind of a remedy for fibromyalgia that involves ginger, but she didn't want to give it to me because she didn't want to, she didn't want to, she wasn't sure that they would like it if she gave it to me. But I think they gave it to me because I felt like brewing up, and she said it had to be brewed a certain way, and it's like it had to be made a certain way. It's like, I think I got the recipe because I whipped something up, and it's actually helping.
Now, is it?
So,
are you talking about Robin who, by the way? I don't know who you're speaking of.
Oh, Robin. Oh, of course, Robin McCrae.
Okay, Robin McCrae. Okay, I know her, or I know of her. I don't know her. Yeah, and the recipe is from where?
Bigfoot.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Sasquatch. It's a Sasquatch recipe.
Okay.
For fibromyalgia. So apparently, they have Sasquatch herbal healers.
Oh.
Among them.
Wow.
So isn't that interesting?
It is, yeah.
And apparently, because I asked for it, I thought, I really need that. I have fibro. That's part of my problem here. That's a big part of my problem.
Oh.
I think I got it. I think that's what it was because, see, mind speak is very subtle. It's not quite like telepathy. Telepathy, I think of words, right?
Right.
But mind speak is more subtle. You don't even hardly know that you're talking to anybody. Huh. You almost think you're thinking to yourself.
Okay. Gotcha. Huh.
Except that ideas come up that you wouldn't think of otherwise.
Okay, so that's
and then.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say though, so that's how you identify when it's mind speak is that it's just things you wouldn't normally think of just pop into your head.
Yeah, that's part of it,
okay.
And well, that's one way. One way to know that it's mind speak, and another way is to say, I have said, hey, if I'm really talking to you, because it took me a long time to figure out I was talking to Sasquatch.
Okay.
Huh. I had no idea until I heard people talking about what it was like, especially Robin and Duke and I had no idea why I would go out into the woods, though, and talk to somebody.
Huh.
I knew that.
Okay.
I was talking to somebody. I thought it was maybe a tree, a dryad. People talk to trees, whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
Okay.
Nature spirit or something. Apparently, quite often, I was talking to Bigfoot and didn't know.
Huh. That's pretty impressive.
They actually had me remember. They actually reminded me, just like sent stories into my head, like pictures of events that I know happened that I had forgotten about, that I didn't know what it was.
Oh.
I didn't know what was happening, but it was them.
Okay.
They were saying, "Oh yeah, that was them."
Oh, okay.
It's like, wow. So they've known me since I was a kid, playing out in the woods, over at my old place over in the park, in the woods in Gorge Park, and so they've known me all my life.
Oh, okay.
That's me. They've known me my whole life, and every time I would go out in the woods, and they like me because I would sing, and they like to be sung to, and because I was a very peaceful person, and I was very respectful of the woods, and so they really liked me. So that's why they got in touch with me again when I moved over here, because I was so close to the woods again, so close to the country, that it was really easy to get in touch with me again.
Okay. Well, fantastic. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's great. If you want to see it's a very short video. I could send it.
Sure. You can send it over and we can take a look at it and see where it'll fit in the shows. Thank you, Dee. I appreciate that.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to send it to Duke also, and a couple other places. But yeah, it's. I just want to say, they are not just animals. Okay, they're not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Right? Don't even consider hunting them, please, ever.
Yeah.
You'll be sorry, because when you realize that these are people, you're going to feel like, you murdered somebody.
Yeah.
Don't do it, man.
Yep, I
Okay?
agree. I agree wholeheartedly. Yeah, they shouldn't be hunted. All right, thanks, Dee. I appreciate you calling in and sharing all this.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Mhm.
All right. Well, there you go. Very cool. All right. Where are we at for time? Okay. So yeah, I don't think they're just animals at all. I think that they are a people. I don't know if they're very much like us or very different from us, but they're very intelligent. They're very good at what they do. And they still have a mastery over the environment that we couldn't begin to comprehend, I'm sure. So, all right. So back to this article. See what you guys think. Again, Texas official baffled by unknown animal captured on camera at state park. So here's the image, folks, and you can be the judge. I'm going to just go on the record and say it looks like some kind of badger to me. Just with those stout legs and such, or maybe a wolverine of some kind, or a badger or something of that nature. But it's been put out there. It was captured on State Park in Texas, which I guess maybe they don't have badgers normally. I don't know. I guess that's news to me, but it does seem to be some kind of badger. But let's see what it says after I blow it way up, because I'm not seeing that real clear. Okay, so it says a mysterious animal was recently filmed lurking inside a South Texas state park inside the Rio Grande Valley. But officials are confused about its true identity. On Thursday, officials with the Benson Rio Grande Valley State Park posted a photo captured by a trail camera showing a four-legged creature walking among the park's trees at night. We're scratching our heads trying to identify this elusive creature. Officials captioned in the post, is it a new species, an escapee from a nearby zoo, or just a park ranger in disguise? That's a bad joke. Regardless, it's thrilling to see such an incredible animal in its natural habitat. So what is it? I don't know. But it's interesting anyway. I don't know about badgers in Texas. I guess I could do a quick Google search. Are there badgers in Texas? A badger is found throughout Texas except for the farthest eastern edge. Okay, well, that doesn't sound like it's too incredibly impossible, but it does seem to have that badger kind of stature. Maybe a little more round, but I think there's, again, I'm going to put this up on screen so you guys can see it. There it is. A badger is found throughout Texas except for the furthest eastern edge. It occupies a variety of habitats, and the most prevalent in the prairie and desert sections of the West. They seem to prefer large tracts of open, uncultivated ground. So, and there's a badger. I don't know if that's exactly what we're looking at in this image or not. Let me try to move this over a little bit. Is that the same thing? Well, it doesn't seem to have the same patterning or the colors, but I know that wolverines are in the badger family. There's several variations, so I don't know. You be the judge, but there's more to the article, but I just thought, well, that's kind of neat. But just fair warning, this is the same place or the same part that posted this image, which I think is really hokey and hoaxy, of what might be a dog man. It might be any number of things, but is it the one in the same place? I don't know. It's in the Rio Grande Valley. Okay, so whatever it is, they don't know. Allegedly, it could just be clickbait. It could just be to get attention. Perhaps they absolutely know what it is, but they find that they can get mileage out of posting these. What is this new creature? Because it gets attention and may draw people in for touristy stuff. I don't know. So it might just be a ploy, but at any rate, it's interesting nonetheless. So I think we're going to visit the Cryptid Corner here quick and visit some Sasquatch Chronicles article. There's one article from Sasquatch Chronicles, and then we're going to visit some phantoms and monsters and see where we end up. So the first one is, of course, coming from our good friend, Mr. Wes Germer's Sasquatch Chronicles blog at SasquatchChronicles.com. So check it out. There's so much over there that isn't on his podcast, but there's still so much information. So this one comes from April 4th. I could hear it running behind me. A listener writes, I'm from Tennessee, born and raised. We moved to a property that's still in our family home area when I was 13. It was on a mountain located just outside a national state park and not far from the Great Smoky Mountains. Okay. It's actually not far from where I was. It was a small town of about 1,000 people, not much to do. So every day after school, I would come home, get a knife, change clothes, and go hike and explore the woods. When I was 17, I had went further back than ever before, about 1.5 miles, and discovered an old logging trail that some land that had been strip mined. I spent the day exploring until almost sunset. I knew there was sinkholes and to be careful, and I just walked up on the biggest one I had ever seen. Trees had fallen into it, and it was about 100 by 200 feet and about 10 feet deep. As I was looking, I noticed a figure bent over towards the edge of on the fair, or I guess it's the far end. That's supposed to be F-A-R, not F-A-R-E, so it's not fair, it's far. On the far end, about 100 feet from me. It was hunched over and pulling bark from a tree and reaching in to a hold to grab something. It took me a moment to process what I was seeing. It was dark gray hair and had shoulder shaped like a large man. At first, I thought it was just a bear, but the head shape from behind was more like elongated dome, like a kitchen trash can lid, but huge. I saw ears on the sides as well, but not towards the top. I turned around slowly to leave, and as I did, it turned and looked at me. Its face was scarred and wrinkled with dull gray skin tone. Had a very large mouth with large human-like teeth. Its nose was flat and plump. Its eyes its eyes was a dark green/black color. It squinted at me and then made a snarled look. It stood up, and it must have been about 8 feet tall. Its head was almost to the top of the pit. I had took off running as soon as I saw it look at me. I was terrified. As I ran, I could hear it running behind me. I turned to look, and it was pushing small trees down as it ran. Thought if I got to a thicket, it would make it harder to chase me. I knew I was only about 300 feet from barbed wire fence area my uncle had cows and a bull in. If I could make it there, I thought I'd be safe. As it went through the thicket of bushes, it was yelling, and the yell sounded like a donkey mixed with a dog howl, is the best way I know how to describe it. This made me run for all I had. It was extremely fast and I think toying with me. As I got to the fence, I stepped up on the second strand of barbed wire and launched myself into a tree beside it. When I looked, it had stopped and was staring at me. A cow was about 10 feet away, and it went over and literally shoved the cow to the ground and then yelled again, looking directly at me, and then turned to go away. I told my brother about it when I got back, warning him to stay out of the woods. He just laughed. He was 12 at the time, thinking I was just messing with him. I didn't want to be made fun of, so I kept it to myself all this time. Listening to your show made me realize I'm not the only one, and I know what I saw. Yikes. Why did it pursue him, do you suppose? That's the weird thing. Like, was it just bored? Was it thinking obviously I think this thing could have caught him. I don't know how old it was, or if it was kind of a hobbled up older one, or is it, still incredibly quick and spry? I don't know. I don't think that even an older one would have much trouble running down a human being, though, because comparatively speaking, we're very slow. We're not extraordinarily fast creatures, especially in the woodlands and stuff. So I don't know, but it's got to be terrifying. My God, I couldn't imagine that feeling of what that would feel like. Bluff charge? Maybe, yeah, that's a good point, Eric. It could just have been a bluff charge. And since this person took off, it just extended the bluff part. Because it did just stop and just push over a cow like, see, that could have been you. I don't know. It is strange, but good point, Eric. I appreciate your input. Well, it's hard to know, but at any rate, you made it just fine, but that's got to change your love of the outdoors. I think just having something like that chasing you, even if it was a bluff charge, would be so terrifying and so horrifying. I don't know how you could just get past that. I don't think I could. I don't know, though. Maybe I could, but probably not. Knowing myself like I know myself, I don't know if I could. That's just me being frank and open about it. All right, so we're going to head over to Phantoms and Monsters now. This is Lon Strickler's site, and definitely check it out as well. Lon Strickler has been a pillar in the Paranormal 40 and communities forever. And his Phantoms and Monsters site is a great repository of a lot of different encounters and such. So you can certainly read days and days and days about different sightings that are recorded there. But Lon and his team also do research into many different phenomena, the Dogman, Bigfoot, as well as the winged, like Mothman type things that they're finding up around the Great Lakes region. And so there's all kinds of ongoing things there, as well as Lon's has authored several books, and you can find those linked on the site and how to get those, as well as Phantoms and Monsters podcast. So there's all kinds of things to check out over at phantomsandmonsters.com. So definitely do that. So the next one up is from March 31st. Four-legged human-like creature observed at Big Bear, California hotel. All right, and it says, an unknown four-legged human-like creature was observed by a guest at a Big Bear, California hotel. There's also weird activity occurring at the same time. Very interesting incident. And let's see how long this is. Yeah, it goes on for a little bit. It's going to be maybe the rest of the show, actually. All right, let's see what we can get through here, though. It says, The night of February 27th, 2017, in the early a.m., I was staying at the Best Western in Big Bear. At approximately 12:35 a.m., I walked to my car alone to retrieve my luggage. It had been snowing and was extremely dark. My car was facing a country road, and when I hit the unlock button of my car, the parking and interior lights came on. This allowed me to see two eyes reflecting in the middle of the road, about 10 to 15 feet from me. Well, at first I thought it was a deer. I've lived in Colorado, and I'm accustomed to seeing wildlife. I instantly stopped and remained still as I didn't want to scare off what I thought it was a deer. As my eyes glanced downward, I noticed it wasn't a deer. It looked like a white, hairless, naked man on all fours. Oh, that's creepy. It was at least 4 feet in height on all fours, probably be around 15 feet if it stood up. What? How do you get 4 feet in height on all fours but 15 feet standing? I don't think that math quite works. But anyway, there was a brief moment and our eyes made contact, and it then, as quickly as I have ever seen any animal, turned around and ran as fast as a cheetah away from me and then straight up a tree. Well, I was frozen in disbelief, and I said out loud to myself, "You have to be flipping kidding me." Just as I was going to convince myself that this couldn't possibly be happening, it leaped from the treetop to treetop, and I could see its full outline as it did so. I've never heard of such a creature before. I've found some other videos and pictures online that look exactly like what I saw. The speed and strength it had was like nothing I'd ever heard of before. The creature was definitely solid. It moved as if it were coming towards me, possibly hunting me. I don't know what stopped it. Was it the lights that went on? It had no visible genitalia. It had very human-like qualities. First, it was a new moon, and I believe it was an eclipse that day as well. And there was a creek across the street, and I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but my experience. But it was also a day. I was also a day from menstruating. If this had been a huge-eyed gray alien, it would have made more sense. I've heard of those, but this was unlike anything I'd ever been familiar with. None of this makes sense to me. The speed, the agility of the creature, and there shouldn't be any way that the tree top should have been able to hold the weight of the creature. It appeared to be flashing like a TV going in and out of reception as it sprinted up the tree, and it also didn't appear to disrupt the foliage as it did so. I immediately called my father after I rushed back into my hotel room. My son was asleep, and I was understandably in a state of shock. Hold on. At this time, no one knew what hotel I was staying in. As I was crying on the phone with my father, the hotel phone rang. I answered it, and it was only a dial tone. And then there was a knock on the hotel room door. Once again, no one was there. Wow, that doesn't sound like it was really there. Like it sounds like something else. Maybe in and out of phase kind of thing, transdimensional or something. I don't know. At this point, my son woke up due to the commotion, and I told him it was a scary dream, and I gave my father the hotel information, and he advised me to go wait in the lobby with my son. Well, as we were leaving, there was another knock, but it was at the back sliding glass door that went out up to a private fenced-in patio. This was a one-time encounter, and it's unfortunate that I still live in fear of this experience. I was raised Christian, and this humanoid doesn't fit into any category with which I am familiar. I don't know why this happened and that I'm supposed to learn from it. In addition, the hotel phone number, I found out later, has 6 sixes in a row. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that has anything to do with what happened. I always thought demons can't have a physical body unless it's possessing someone, and I can't imagine it flying a spacecraft due to its primal manner. Is it a transdimensional being? Nephilim? What was it going to do? Is it going to come after me again? Why didn't it do what it was set out to do? My previous beliefs about the world and the way things work has been tossed upside down. While it's thought-provoking, It's been very traumatic and has me in a panic state. That's distracting and mostly negative. And the note here from Lon is that for the past several years, I've been investigating sightings of a humanoid in and around Big Bear Lake area, the southeast, into Big Morongo Canyon, along with Route 62 into Yucca Valley and Joshua Tree. There have been reports of people going missing in the area for several years, and a few body parts have been recovered. There have also been sightings of a winged humanoid in Yucca Valley from Lon. Wow. I don't know, this thing doesn't sound like it was actually winged. This person saw no wings, but it definitely moved in a way that seemed like it was glitching through, or phasing or something. I don't know. That's a strange, horrible thing. Whatever it is, it's all kinds of creepy. So this has been the Cryptid Corner, and I think we're going to go to this last article here. Not this one, but this one. This is one we've been going through for a few days. We only got time for a little bit more before we're done with our time limit for the night. But this is from the petsreporter.com. It's an aggregate Reddit scrape article. But people share freaky stories that make us wonder if we're living in a matrix. So we're on where you look like you've seen a ghost. And it says, my mother and I had gone to A&W for lunch. I remember A&Ws. Those are great. They still have them all over the world and here and there in the States, but not many. Used to be in everywhere. And we were both sitting there eating our meals, and we happened to be seated pretty close to the washroom doors. So I noticed everyone going in and out, and first person to come out is this old man who's kind of hobbling along. He walked past, and I looked at him and went on with my meal. Not 30 seconds later, another man comes out of the bathroom. And at this point, I get a little freaked out because I realize it's the exact same person. Same limp, clothing, face, everything. A couple minutes later, the same thing happens, except it's an old woman this time. She comes out and then 30 seconds later comes right out of the bathroom again. My mom took a look at me and said, you look like you've seen a ghost. Yeah, I think she thinks she had. All right, Ring My Bell is next. And it says, I was working in a decades-old nursing home out in the middle of the woods in Pennsylvania as a nurse's aide on the night shift. A resident pulls the mechanical call bell in the bathroom for assistance. I flip it off and help her back to bed, and as I'm exiting the only way in or out, the call bell goes on again. I look back, and it's not the electric one in her bedroom, which blinks slowly. It's the mechanically operated one you have to physically pull in the bathroom, which blinks twice as fast. The lady's close to 400 pounds and non-ambulatory, and there is no physical way she could have pulled that bell. I sure as hell did not, and there was no one else around. Yeah, nursing homes. Oof. Nursing homes, those are the things. There's all kinds of, I'm sure, presences that linger there. This one is Camera from the Future. My father died in 2008, the night before visiting his house for the last time. He appeared in my dream, where he handed me a black camera in a plastic bag and specifically said, take this camera as I won't be needing it anymore. And I took it from him. And the first thing in the morning, I visit his house, where most of the stuff is already moved by my uncle, and open one of his wardrobes and find a sealed cardboard box deep inside, rip it open with a knife, and take out this retro black camera. Apparently, my uncle missed that one and took off with all of his other electronics, but not the camera. All I can say is that this experience was a proper communication, and it significantly eased my pain knowing that something remained from a loved one's passing. Oh, that's beautiful. He wanted her to have the camera, so he made sure she did. Sleepy Sleepover, or Sleepy Superpower, sorry. Just got to keep an eye on the time. It says, back when my husband and I first got together, we used to work opposite shifts. One day I was napping in our apartment before I went to work, and as I was drifting off, I had this strange feeling like he was right there, laying with me. It was really comforting and warm. So as I was drifting off right into a dream where we were napping together outside in the sun. I woke up about 30 minutes later feeling totally refreshed. My phone vibrated with a text message from my husband, and it said, "Just took a nap on my break. Thanks for joining me." Cool, huh? I decided to marry him in an effort to absorb his powers. That's weird if that guy was that good at dreaming and could make that happen. That's pretty wild. I mean, that's a hell of a statement to make. Not like, "Hey, I just had a dream and I was sleeping and you were there. It was really great." He's like owning it. He's like, "Hey, thanks for joining me." Like he knew she was there. That's pretty cool guy. All right, next up. It's like riding a bike. It's got a picture of Oprah. Woke up one morning when I was 16 or so and realized I'd forgotten how to tie my shoes. Like this action I had done every day almost since I could walk was just wiped from my mind. I had to learn it all over again. Wow. That's strange. I don't know how old this person is. I guess they were 16 at the time, but how do you just lose something like that? Does that indicate some kind of cerebral issue, maybe some kind of small hemorrhage or something, that you might have lost something of stored memory? Or is there something else going on? Is there an abduction thing going on? I don't know. That's crazy. How do you just forget something like that? I will tell you, though, that as I've gotten older, and I don't know if it's early onset dementia or what, but sometimes I just sit there wondering how to spell a word that I should know. Like, I should know it. I should know it backwards and forwards. I'm usually a really good speller. And sometimes the most mundane words will just be gone from my head. Like, how do you spell that? And I have to Google it. And even when I look at it at Google, it looks weird, like wrong. But it's just some of the ways that I guess our brains work. But I don't know if I've ever forgotten how to tie my shoes. I've managed to keep that so far, but who knows? Excuse me. But I guess it's all a part of the journey we're on, right, folks? All right, don't forget to put the tray back. Me and my mate sitting in a McDonald's, and we always ordered out so as not to get a crappy plastic tray for the food, but we'd eat in anyway. And so we finish eating. My mate jolts his left leg, and a tray appears at his feet. We have no idea where it came from. We looked about, and no one seemed to be missing one. We're laughing. As far as we both know, his leg created a tray. Or someone went, "Hey, where's your tray? You're eating here. You're supposed to have a tray," like an old manager that passed away or something. That's funny. One more. Am I your favorite superhero? Spider Shrek. I don't even know. I don't know what Spider Shrek's powers are, but you could be. Spider-Man used to be my favorite. That'd be for sure when I was younger. Wait, I didn't read this one. This is Do I Know You? At a party in college, I was walking out the back door to smoke a cigarette when another guy opens the door to come in, and we look at each other for a split second, and I yell, "Tim," and he yells blank, whatever her name is. And we hug and spend a few minutes catching up, as we hadn't seen each other in years. After 5 minutes, we stop talking, look at each other hard, and say, "We've never met, have we?" And he responds, "I have no idea who you are." But we both knew each other's names. Wow. So is that like a glimpse into the interconnectedness of all people? Like, I believe that we're all tied together through the divine, or whatever you want to call it, the life force. Like, we're all part of this one consciousness. Like, we are, I guess one way to put it is we are all ideas in the mind of God, quote unquote God, whatever that means to you. And so are moments like this where maybe you are looking at it from that more divine angle. Like, you do know each other because we're all linked. We're all joined. And so is this a moment that they had where they just knew each other and we're like, "Oh, let's catch up." And then it was like, "We've never met, have we?" That's a strange one. Am I allowed to post funny memes in the Discord? I'd like to keep the Discord focused on the paranormal. If you find funny paranormal memes, of course. But I definitely don't want it to become just a garbage bin of just random stuff. I want it to be about the paranormal. So if you find funny paranormal memes, absolutely. Those are awesome. But yeah, just answer your question quickly. But ladies and gentlemen, I think this is going to conclude our journey tonight. I hope you've had a good time. Hope you've had fun. I hope to have entertained you. And if I have, I hope you'll get subscribed and stick around and come back when we do more live shows. I do, again, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, do live shows right here on YouTube. And then every Monday, we release new podcast episodes. This Monday's podcast episode is going to be, I am joined by Supernatural Station. Jaron and Roman are going to be our guest on this Monday's podcast. It's already been recorded, but Don's doing the Don stuff to it. So it'll be posted after midnight Monday morning. So early Monday morning it'll be posted. So I hope you guys will check it out. I hope you will follow the podcast on all the platforms, or Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google, Stitcher, Castbox, Pandora, any of the platforms. We'd love to see you there, Podbean. So definitely do that. If you're on a platform that allows reviews and you like the shows, please leave us a nice review. We get these very, very rarely, but they come through. Some of these trash. Somebody's trying to trash the reputation of the shows. And it's not, I mean, we still have a really high rating, and it's mostly like 98, 99% positive reviews. But every once in a while we get this 1 star with some stupid stuff. Like some guy came into the iTunes Apple charts saying, trash, this is a MAGA podcast. Well, I never talk politics, ever. I've never done that on the show. But it just shows you that this person was more interested in trying to damage my rating than they were to accurately report. Another one said, oh, it's a good show, but the sound is horrible. And I'm like, I think the sound is good. And so, I mean, there's people out there that work to try to lower other shows. Maybe they have their own show, and they're trying to damage the reputation in order to escalate themselves. I don't know. I mean, there's all kinds of creepy people in the world. So if you like the shows, I'd appreciate a review. If you don't like the shows, then by all means, you can review that if you like. That's up to you. But I'd prefer you didn't. But anyway, yeah, it sounds like a bot. Yeah, it might be. I don't know. It's just really weird. Your show is great. Keep up the great work. Thank you, K-Love. I appreciate it. And thank you guys all for your love. Eric says, that's just ridiculous. You put out a quality show. Thank you, Eric. I mean, I do. I always try to put out the show that I would like to listen to. And I mean that not sounding arrogant or anything, but I think it was Wes that told me, look, if you're not doing shows that you would listen to, you can't expect other people to. And I've always kept that in mind, that if I'm going to put out a show, I'm going to put out the best show I know how, because I value the fact that you guys show up to be, to get an entertaining show, whether it's the live shows here or the podcast. In either case, I put all my heart into it because I want it to be well received. I want you guys to enjoy the time that you invested in it. Not like, oh, I'll never get that hour back, So so anyway, just throwing it out there. I mean, I'm not trying to beg for pats on the back. I only want sincere reviews. I don't want you to just go, 5 stars, because, that you're trying to be kind. So, but if you like it, please do. Love it. And I hope you guys have a great rest of the weekend. Happy Easter to those of you that observe it. Happy Ostara to those of you that observe it. And hope you guys have a great holiday. And I will be back on Wednesday night with Don, so I hope you guys will join me. And send Sheldon a prayer for his headache to go away. Boom. And that's going to wrap it up for us. So hopefully you guys have a great night. Thank you again for joining us. Remember, we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out.
find the magic in every day and remember to laugh as much as you can. So I'll see you on Wednesday, but tune into the podcast on Monday. Again, Supernatural Station is joining us. So it was a great discussion. Jaron and Roman are great guys. We had a lot of fun talking. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it. But anyway, that wraps it up for me. I'm out. You guys take care. Thank you, Maggie.